Welcome, my friends, to the Red All Over Away End Show with me, Andy Simcox. This show is a companion to Red All Over's main preview show and affords me the opportunity and gives me the greatest pleasure to talk to friends old and new about their club. We look at their team's strengths, weaknesses, style, formation, how the season's going so far, what players we should look out for, and much, much more. But before all that, let me take you back all the way to 1958. Yes, folks, 1958, when a 4-year-old boy went to his first game at Oakwell, sat on his dad's shoulders on the Kop to watch his beloved Barnsley. Fast forward to the present day, and the Kop is now an all-seater stand named the Barry Murphy stand after our longest serving player. It is also designated as the away stand. So in a strange twist of fate, that 4-year-old boy has come full circle and is now finally back on the away end. Strap yourselves in. Roll the titles. This is the Red All Over Away End show in preparation for Lincoln away in the league. Oh dear me. So I've got my old friend, oh dear me, and they always beat us when I speak to him. My old friend Jake Tonge, who's done loads of stuff with Nappers on the EFL, but he's also now, again, for the last season or so, doing a Lincoln podcast called Here for the Lincoln. So a massive welcome. It's so good to talk to you again. Every time the season starts, Jake, I look to see when we're playing your, and I always hope it's a Saturday so we get a proper chance, but it's a Tuesday. But so we're recording this on a Sunday. We've done the Red All Over preview show, so I can talk about that if you want, Jake. Tell you what we've said, but Sunday afternoon, here we are. Jake, tell us about your podcast. I know, but both our listeners don't know.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on again, Andy. Much appreciate the.
Oh, you begged to come on. I didn't invite you.
Yeah.
You contacted me and said, "Please let me come on. Please do one." It's the second time now. I've tried to blank you. I've tried to ghost you, and twice now you've said, "Are you doing one? I need to come on it. Come on, I want to come on it." So here we are. Anyway, so having said that. So you having said thanks for inviting me when I hadn't, you've started off in a, so I'm not going to believe a word you said from now on.
It's because the viewers love me, Andy. That's why you've. That's why we're here. Appreciate it, and obviously a massive sending my condolences and thoughts again to everyone associated with Red All Over regarding Al. Obviously, I've met Al a few times and absolutely loved him as a bloke and enjoyed watching him every week. So. My thoughts are with obviously yourself, Andy, Al's family, and the rest of you at Red All Over, because I know Al put a lot of work into this show. So it's nice to be able to pay tribute to him because he was a top bloke. But they're here for.
Well, don't give him too much credit. He wouldn't do any editing.
Well,
you were too lazy. He just wanted to talk his nonsense.
He did try and find me in the club shop, and I turned around, and he was in that bright pink shirt that you had last season, and he nearly scared the life out of me. But it's a shame to see what's happened with Al. So like I said, all the best to his family and everything. They're here for the Lincoln podcast, like you mentioned, going really well. We we just did our Spotify Wrapped this year, and we're like in terms of the growth this year, it's just been absolutely astronomical. We had a really good year. So doing lots of content on Lincoln, like you say, previews, review shows. We've had exclusive interviews with ex-pros. We've now got the club involved, which is really good. It's going really well. Obviously, the stuff with Nappers, like you mentioned, the EFL League One Live we do, which we will be doing one on Wednesday after the Lincoln Barnsley game. So if you do want to come and rub salt in my wounds after you've beaten us at the bank, feel free to come and jump in the comment section. And obviously, the other thing that I should plug, Andy, because we both do it together, is the EFL debate with Gab Sutton that we're both on. I know you've been on more more recently than I have. Obviously, I've moved places now, so I've been a little bit all over the gaff. But yeah, the EFL debate every Thursday, League One podcast. Me and you, I imagine, given the fact we're in the same sort of area of the table ish. I mean, that's kind of generous to Barnsley, isn't it? Because we're fourth and you're not. We should be in the playoff scramble chat with each other. So it'd be good to work with you again, Andy.
That's good. If you watch our own preview shows when I've not got this away and background on, you'll see a background. You think, what the hell's that? It's when Smithy died, people just by osmosis, really, unprompted, went to his front gates and tied scarves, hats, you name it. And so I took a photograph of it, and I've said that all season, rather than having a variety of different backgrounds, I'm just going to use Alan's background, from his front door, if you like. Alan's background on the as my background for the show for the whole season. I can't see. I don't know how I'm ever going to take it off. If I'm honest, I might occasionally take it off next season. But if you watch it, that's what it is. The gates to hell that him and Kate shared, and now it's just Kate on her own who's doing pretty well. It's difficult for her, but she's doing pretty well.
Good.
So we keep in touch with her and all that, and do a few things with her. So she's bearing up as best as anybody can for somebody that's so larger than life as he is. It's just not over it yet, but you continue. You got to continue, aren't you? And what you will find later on in this is that there's still little Alan Andy. They'll ask you a few different questions about you. And the reason they're continuing, because as you know, little Alan Andy were the Ant and Dec of me and Alan. He told me that, I can't get my head around this. I'm 71 and I'm his legacy. I said, do you really need me as a flipping So little Alan Andy, he wanted it to continue as his legacy. So they are doing, and it took a bit of time to decide whether to or not, but he was desperate for it to happen. So it happens. So you still get little Alan Andy asking you searching questions towards the end. So
Can't wait.
get ready for them little monkeys. So anyway, fourth in the table, and you were doing better than that, weren't you? Until you didn't play on Saturday, so you've had a bit of a rest. Because did you get knocked out at FA Cup?
First round, yeah.
I thought you had. That's why you didn't play, isn't it? So while you're there with fourth, you were higher than that until yesterday. There were a couple of teams won, weren't there? And you lost to Huddersfield. Flipping heck, Huddersfield. How can you lose to Huddersfield? What's that all about?
Yeah, we lost to him in the Virtue Trophy. I don't know if you noticed one of the goal scorers, Andy, little blonde lad who we had a couple of years ago that scored a nice goal at Oakwell. I don't know if you remember him, but he scored and celebrated, which was lovely.
Listen, I spent a couple of weeks ago. I spent a whole episode when we were talking about Link. I said, I don't know what's happened to me. I think I've finally gone. I think I've got Smith syndrome. I think that's what it is. I swore blind that Jay Stansfield played for you and scored for you at Oakwell, and I know, and obviously I was put right, and I know he ain't, but I still tried to front it out, Jay, by saying I hope he don't score against us when we play Lincoln. I still tried to front it out, even though he were Exeter and not you he played for.
I'm not sure we could afford. I'm not sure we can afford him, given he was valued at what 20 million quid
Something like
last year.
that. No. So down to fourth because there were a couple of victories yesterday, I think, but doing really, really well as we expected. And of course, with the Virtue Trophy, you beat us 2-0. I thought we did all right for first half an hour until you scored, and then I know it's only 2-0, but it could have been more. We just went. You just quick up front, and even we changed teams. So tell us about your ins and outs. Tell you about who's joined, because I've not spoken to you this season properly yet. Anyway, so tell us who you got shut of and who Scoob's brought in.
Yeah, in terms of the outs, I think on the eve of the season before we played Reading, I was probably at my lowest point because at that point, Sean Rowan had decided to not sign a contract and he'd decided to go to Huddersfield. We got compensation for him. That was nice. Yeah. Pordy O'Connor, who I know Barnsley fans were admirers of, he ended up going to Reading. ironically, his agent is Stephen Hunt, and obviously Noel Hunt was the Reading
Yeah,
manager at the time. So put
yeah.
two and two together, helping a brother out. So Porty went there on a 4-year contract. He's like doubled his wages. Like fair enough that happens. Ethan Arahan, obviously ex Barnsley, was a name that a lot of clubs were linked with. He ended up trying to force a move out of Lincoln altogether. He ended up going to Bolton Wanderers.
Mm.
Which is a good move for him. But I think based on where the clubs he was linked to at the end of that 23-24 season, the start of 24-25,
Yeah.
like I'm disappointed he's gone to Bolton because he could have gone to Sheffield United, Coventry, Watford. So I'm a little bit disappointed for him. And then the big one, really, Lincoln actually made their record sale this summer with Jovan McCarmer, who I think scored in that 4-3 that we had last year, came on and did really well. He's an academy prospect that we signed from Derby when he was 15. He went to Norwich for about £1.5 million. So it's a big deal because that's the first time we've ever sold a player for over £1 million. He's gone to Norwich and he's done really well. He's scored a couple of goals in the first team. So those were the four big players that went out.
Yeah.
To replace them. Sonny Bradley's come in. I know you lot guys were linked with Sonny Bradley.
Yeah, I liked him. Yeah.
He did really well for Wickham last season. They got in the playoffs, big unit of a defender, basically a pound for pound Pordy O'Connor replacement.
Absolutely.
Where's the 15, same as Pordy did. So big influence on the dressing room. He's from Hull, so I can kind of understand the geography, why he's come here. A left back, we've signed a name that you guys will be familiar with because he's played down the road at Wednesday, Adam Reach.
He's always been a good player. I don't know what he's like for you, but he's always been a good player.
Really good player. We went all summer after a left back. We tried to sign Max Conway that was at Bolton. We tried, and I still feel like we might sign a lad from Ireland, from Shamrock Rovers, a guy called Josh Honohan. That's you're probably going to play us twice before we get the chance to sign him. He's probably going to come in from Shamrock. But Adam Reach came in on deadline day as a left back. No one knew about it, and he's played really, really well. He scored. I mean, Adam Reach scores worldies for fun, Andy, as you well know. And he scored a lovely goal away at Peterborough in our first win there in 20 years. And I just can't love the bloke any more than I do right now. He's been fantastic. We've brought in our record signing, Ivan Varfolomeev. He's a Ukrainian under-21 international. We signed him from Slovan Liberec in the Czech Republic. Really interesting.
Glad you had to say it, not me.
Yeah, really interesting character. Really good, really good player. I think he's not played a lot of first team football, but what I have seen, I don't know if you guys watched the Chelsea game when we played Chelsea in the League Cup this year. He basically intercepted the pass and beat Trevor Chalobah to the ball and set Rob Street up for the goal. So he's done well in spurts. But we've had players like Justin Abitku, who's coming on loan from Coventry. He played for the Fishy lot down the road last season. You've got Frankie Koronquo, who was the world's most expensive 16-year-old when he left Sunderland to join Everton a couple of years ago. So we've done bits and bobs. We've signed a couple. But it's about getting those players back. Like we had Rob Street, who down the road from you lot was scoring goals for Donny and basically got them promoted. He's come into the team. Freddie Draper's come back. So yeah, it's been a big summer change, but it's definitely been enjoyable. And Riley Towler as well. I should mention Riley Towler. He's a really big player for us. And Oscar Thorne as well. Players. We're now entering that market where we used to have to get players in for free, but now because we've made a big sale with Jovan and we've probably made about £2.5 million this summer, we can then go and unlock that next player. So Oscar Thorne, Ivan, players of that ilk.
Yeah. It's funny you should say about Rob Street, because I spoke a few weeks ago doing an away end with Rambling Rovers, the Doncaster podcast.
Yeah.
And one of the questions that you're going to get asked by the little scamps is if you could sign a League One player from any club now for yours, who would it be? And like lightning, he said Rob Street.
Yeah.
That Lincoln would have loved to have signed Rob Street because he were superb for him.
Yeah.
So I only saw him. I saw the Virtual Trophy game. Oh dear. Where I think he came on as a substitute, and it looked like it looked a quick quality player. So, but that's the only time apart from what I've done, I've not really seen him for you. So going on from that, 'cause you've got a few others that I've personally always liked and what's the word? Feared. That's the word. That's the word. Feared.
Yeah.
I like Ben House. I think Ben
Yeah.
House, but for me, Ben House is a good player. But the player that I fear, only because he does nothing all game normally and then scores towards the end in every single time virtually that he's played against us, is James Collins. I would
Yeah.
love us to have James Collins, but I hate him playing against us. Not because I think he's a really good. I think he's a quality goal scorer.
Mm.
But he just offends me because I just want to watch a game that we play with him against us that he don't score in. I don't,
Yeah.
he could be brilliant for me as long as he doesn't score. Because sometimes he's good against us and scores. Sometimes he don't do much, but scores, and it's so flipping frustrating for me to watch him. So they're the ones I would identify as being. You've already talked about
Mm.
Sonny and Adam, but they're the ones that those three forwards, if you like, are the ones that I always watch out for. Is there anybody else, or including them, that you think, as Barnsley fans should be watch out for, be fearful of, laugh about, don't like?
Well, you'll be very glad to hear both Ben House and James Collins probably won't play in either of the
Get
games
in,
that
get
we've got.
in.
So
He'll
Colo,
still,
obviously,
I'll tell you now, he'll still score against us. I'll tell you what, he'll be stood on touchline, just if not warming up, just stood on touchline with no else to do. Ball will come out, hit him on his head, and it'll go in our goal. He'll
he,
score, even if he's not on pitch, he'll score.
he scored a really nice goal, didn't he, in the Virtue Trophy game? That was a really good finish from Colo, but he actually
Excellent.
captained the team on Tuesday night against Huddersfield and went off after about 10 minutes, I think. Sean Rowan gave him a nasty
Yeah.
clip round the ankle, which was
Oh
lovely of
God.
him. And I don't think they know the severity of it. And I think they would maybe. I think Tuesday's probably going to come a little bit too soon for him. We're probably talking about Saturday away at Blackpool, where he's maybe going to feature. Ben House actually seen in crutches at that game against
Wow.
Huddersfield.
Oh, I
So
didn't know that. I'm sorry, Jet. I didn't know
no,
that.
no. Well, obviously I only found out when I walked into the fan zone and saw Ben House on crutches, and I thought, oh, that's not ideal because he's probably been
Yeah.
one of our best players this year. So yeah, I think that's a real shame for us, but obviously you'll be really pleased about that. But we do have other options up front, like Freddie Draper's one.
Yeah.
He's only
Yeah.
21. He's played pretty well. He played well on Tuesday night. Big sort of effective lump of a centre forward. But he's lost a bit of weight. He looks trim. His footwork's got a lot better. I know Fred's done a lot of work over the summer. And Justin Abitku is someone that I probably should point out as well, because he's I think he scored about 3 goals in the league for us, but he comes off the bench and scores. So he came off the bench at Peterborough and scored, came off the bench against Luton and scored. I think he came off the bench against Wickham the other week with his first touch and actually scored. So he knows where the net is, and he did score a lot of goals for Grimsby last year, but it's really who we're going to see in that front line, because I think the one player that I would ask you to be wary about, and it's whether he plays or not, Eric Ring. I thought he was
Oh
exceptional
yeah.
in the game
Yes, he was.
against you guys at the
That's right.
Virtue Trophy. I'd like to see him given a go, but
Wasn't
he's a
he the
right
one that put across it, squared it for the first
for
goal,
for
something
the
like that?
first goal, and then he ran through on goal and blazed one about 18 rows into the stand behind the goal. But he is technically very good, and he is very quick. He's probably our most fast and direct player that we've got. So I would say him and Rico Hackett again as well, probably going
Yeah.
to operate. I mean, I remember Rico came on in the game at your place last year and played really well and scored a really good goal. So, yeah, we've got options, Andy, and that's probably why we're higher up in the league this year, because
Yeah.
this year our squad depth is so much better than it has been before.
What did uh, what did you predict for him then? If you're so high up and going to go for
Um,
automatic, being what did you predict? I can't remember what you told me just before we started, Jake.
Admittedly, I wasn't massively confident, and I didn't realise that there'd be so many underperforming teams in League One this year. I thought that the likes of Blackpool, the likes of
Yeah.
Plymouth, the likes of Huddersfield, Barnsley, maybe even you could say are maybe underperforming right now. Luton, I had us to come 12th, and I thought 12th would be a really good season, because when you look at the budget, Andy, and I know it's a really boring conversation to have, but when you're Lincoln in League One, you kind of have to have that chat. We are 19th this year for budget in the league, and we're
Yeah, of
fourth in the
course you do.
league. And I think that's a massive achievement within itself to be, the club always talk about fans forums, and when I speak to the director of football and the chief exec, they're big on price per point, and we're top of that league by quite a long way at this point of the season. So, yeah, it's. I did predict us to finish 12th, and I still think would I take 12th now? No, I probably wouldn't because I'd be disappointed. But I thought it was a realistic goal. I put us to finish top 6 last season after that really incredible run that we had, and we didn't even get in the playoffs that year.
No.
And I took a lot of flack for it. So I've been a bit more conservative this year and died down our chances. But I think we've got a really good chance of doing it this year.
So you've done that. You're still getting flack from me then.
Absolutely, yeah. I can't escape it either way,
No
Andy.
matter what you do, does it? I don't know. Well, it just shows you that finances does play a part. It obviously
does.
plays a part in football. What brought it home to me a few weeks ago, I did an away end with Steve Bardsley from the Scarf Bagara War,
Yeah.
Stockport County, and I always think of such as yourselves and us and Stockport. Teams like Wigan or all being teams of a similar ilk financially and what have you. And decent sides, but have to go on a budget. And then he told me, and I'd forgotten. Then he told me that they'd signed 3 players for 1 million each,
Yeah.
and I thought, oh, that's not like us.
Well, I even look at Davis
But
Keeler Dunn, Andy, that you signed for like
yeah,
700 grand last
yeah,
summer. Our record signing is Ivan Varfolome for 300 grand.
yeah.
Like, so, you've signed Davis Keeler Dunn. I can't imagine he's your record signing or whatever.
No,
Um,
no. It's
and
our
you
record
guys,
signing when we were in the going in the Premier League was Georgi Ristov at I think it was 1.5 million.
yeah. Well, we
Um,
can't. We wouldn't even for
that were
even.
1997. So it's
Well,
not happened since.
well, absolutely, but it shows you, doesn't it? Barnsley are even able to go out and spend 700 grand. I mean, even Wigan, I think they signed that Costello lad for 500 grand. So it just shows you the finances that you're competing against. And Lincoln, like Barnsley, and like Bolton, and like Wigan, and like whoever it is who are spending the money, we want to get to the same place as you. We just got to try and do it a lot smarter than you guys.
With Davis, just before we managed to sign him, we've been trying to sign him throughout the summer and we got him towards the end of the transfer window. We just played. Your dad will be happy. Paul will be happy. We played Manchester United in the League Cup at Old Trafford. Got hammered. Got absolutely hammered. But got a lot of money from it. And most people, I think, in Barnsley think that tipped it over the edge that we got the money to be able to go
Yeah.
out and get Davis. So although your dad can be happy that they beat us last season, can't be that happy this season, but happy last season that they beat us. We had the last laugh because it meant we could buy DKD. So thank you for that, Paul. You
Yeah,
did well.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, he's a top player, and he tormented us at Oakwell last year. Fully. He didn't have his best game in the Virtue Trophy the other
no,
month, but I fully expect him to be on it on Saturday. I've watched him this year. He looks in good stead.
he's a good player. It's the problem is we haven't got that many options up front, and hopefully, we tried, I think, but we didn't manage it towards the end of the transfer window. Hopefully, we'll address it in January because you can't expect a player to be at the top of his game for every single game if all he's doing is playing and
Yeah,
there's no downtime, coming off and being replaced. He came off a bit earlier yesterday against Peterborough, so that gave him a bit of a rest. But he's been playing too much football. It's you can't just keep playing at the top of your game for so many times. Even though I always say the grown men, if they can't play football twice a week, there's something wrong with them. Even with that, it takes the shine off a bit, doesn't it? If you keep
Mm,
playing, you've got to have that
possibly.
sharpness that goes. So I know the strengths, and like I say, Rob Street, top of it. Thank God James Collins is not playing, but I don't wish him any ill. I just wish he got a red shirt to Barnsley. And we'll see with that. Please tell me you've got at least some weaknesses.
Well,
Not that
I
I'll
mean,
tell anybody, obviously.
yeah. Obviously, I don't want to give too much information to Connor and the backroom staff.
I'll try
It's
not to.
it's difficult because you come into our place, right? We have the second best home record in the entire
I
league.
know you've only, is it last one or something like that?
Yeah, the only game we lost was to Exeter, and I would have been disappointed. I think they scored with their only shot on target, and I would have been disappointed that we'd drawn 0-0 because of the chances we made against them. We didn't put them away, and we lost 1-0, so it felt like a real sucker punch. But our home form was actually really good. In terms of weakness, I mean, sometimes they aren't at it. Sometimes our players are just not at it, and they've had. I would say we're probably playing at like 70% capacity at this minute in time, and yeah, we're fourth and great. Performances haven't been like beautiful and wonderful. Like last two home games, we've beaten Donny and Vale both by a single goal, but neither of them have been comfortable. They've both had spells in the game where they probably could and should have taken points off us. So I mean, like the first half against Wickham as well. Like we just were not at it. Like we were just horrific. And then second half was probably the best we played all season. But that first, they do have that in them. Yeah, and I think if you get the ball to Davis Keelan in the final third, like anything could happen. I know you've got some really good players, so I don't think there's a set weakness. I think there's a stubbornness perhaps to continue with the style of play that we have, and then once we realise when we change it and play on the deck, we realise we're a pretty good football team. But they don't change it, and they like to cling on. So, for example, if we're 1-0 up with 20 minutes to go, we'll sit on it, and the management team will have no issues sitting on it. But for the fans, I'm sure, as you've seen, in your time supporting Barnsley, Andy, you go 1-0 up, and it's not quite comfortable. The opposition have always got a chance. So I think that's probably, even if you're 1-0 up, you won't be out of the game whatsoever. In Lincoln games, it's the second goal is the most important goal of the game because we often score the first goal. It's that second one. If we get it, great, we'll win the game. If you get it, then there's a lot of anxiety around the ground, I think.
I hate to see it when we start defending. We've done it a lot recently. Did it last season, done it this season, where we've gradually, as the game's been going on, even if we've been in front, we've just sat further and further and further back, and then conceded a late goal. We've done it a
Yeah.
few times now, and it gets very, very frustrating. So, we've got to be for us. You got to be. Well, all we're going to say, you got to be three up. But in great scheme of things, pardon me, last year we were beating you 4-1 at Oakwell, and I'm thinking, yes, I can give him some right stick
Hmm.
after the 5-1 that you. And then you scored two late goals, so yes, late goals, and we were hanging on. So you think, we can't even be 5-4-1 up with about wherever it were, about 15 minutes to go, and relax a bit because of what we do. So, it does become very frustrating. I've said a few times, particularly lately, that the best way to defend is not to sit back; it's to attack. Get you.
Hmm.
They're not going to score if the ball's in the opposition's half, unless you race clear, in which case you can score from anywhere. Unless you do that. So I hope against, not that we saw it because we couldn't see it. Oh, I've gone on about that this morning in our show. The Peterborough game, since they're not televising it anyway, and you can't pay for it or do anything with it. I had to listen to it on the radio, but it sounded like even at 1-0 up, we continued to attack. So I'm hoping, or teams to go forward. So I'm hoping that whether we go 1-0 up or 1-0 down or a drawing at your place, that we continue to do that and don't gradually get further and further back, because I find it feels for us, maybe it is for you as well, feels inevitable
Yeah.
that a goal's going to come. The further and further back you go, the further and further back you go.
Yeah.
So, oh gosh, dear me. Anyway, so that's the game. You know all about the little scamps, little Alan Andy, that keeps Smithy's legacy going. And thank you for what you said about him earlier on. Um, it really is appreciated, Jake. And I know you knew him, and I
Hmm.
know what you've said. So thank you. Alan wanted little Alan Andy to continue, so they have done for this season. So they're going to ask you a few questions. This is a view. So I'm going to put them on now to ask the first. They're only about three questions. I'm going to put them on now to ask you the first question. So here they are.
What does your club mean to you?
Oh God. Well, I think supporting Lincoln and they're supporting the lower league, it does mean quite a lot, doesn't it? Like I've moved house completely to be closer to the football club, so I think
That's sad. I thought you were better than that. That's just sad.
that shows my dedication. No, I think obviously it's more than just going to the foot. I explain this to my mum, and she has almost no idea. Bless. She doesn't quite understand that it's not just the game of football you're going to watch. It's the interaction with your friends. It's, you know, you've been at work all week, and it's Saturday is the one opportunity that I get in the week, because Sundays are often really busy with getting ready for the next work week or whatever it is. Going out with your mates, whether it's on the drink, whether it's just traveling up and down the country with them, it's your chance to socialise, and I think that's really what it means. And obviously Lincoln is a very family friendly club as well. There's a really big community vibe around it. I know Lincoln and Barnsley will now be forever interlinked because of the supporter that died, obviously, at the game. So I know Lincoln, there's a brick on our wall now for it shows you, and I think that them good values from the football club, it instills into the supporters. And Lincoln City means the world to me. Like when we win, I get super high. When we lose, I get super low. But I think that's just the excitement of being a lower league football fan. So it genuinely does. I'm not just saying it, but I literally plan my life around Lincoln. So it does mean a lot.
I don't think there's any need for you to pick on your mother. I mean, think of this. Think of your poor mother. She's had to put up with your dad, Paul, all these years. So give him a bit of thought. So anyway, so just let's concentrate on your dad. That's all. So I'm going to put him on for yet another question. So here we go.
Who is your biggest rival? Which team gives you the ick?
No, I think there's only one that stand out as our main rival. We call them the Codheads. I don't know if that gives you any clue, but they play up the A46 and they wear black and white stripes. And I'm not talking about Fleetwood, because I know we're Fleetwood's cup final. I know Nappers was keen to get us in the next round of the Virtue Trophy, but Grimsby are the one. They're the one that I've been growing up to hate. That's just how it is. Listening to, I mean, there's other games, like, because they're not good enough to be in League One, Andy, we often get Mansfield are now obviously up, so that's quite a big game for Lincoln. Peterborough is historically quite a big game. Hull always used to be. I used to listen to my granddad talking about Lincoln. Hull used to be proper like scrappy and nasty games to go to, but Grimsby are the one. Like, they're the game that I look for. But we're too good to play them at the minute, so it's not.
You know, when you do go to Grimsby or Cleethorpes, as it happens, do you do what we do, singing "What's It Like to Stink of Fish"? Do you do it?
Well, we tend to sing a lot worse songs than that, Andy. I'll be honest, but that's the only time I'd visit Grimsby or Cleethorpes, because as everyone knows, the much nicer seaside resort of Skegness is round the corner, which is far superior in every way to Cleethorpes. So,
goodness me,
we don't like Grimsby at all. They're
you've actually got to go past the ground to get to Cleethorpes as well.
So watching them beat Man United in the cup this year was absolutely horrific, as you can imagine. I've got a colleague who's a codhead, and trust me, he let every time we lose or every time we drop points and they win, he lets me know about it.
I go to Grimsby and Cleethorpes a fair bit, because it's not far from us. It's about 57 minutes in the car for us. I always go to Grimsby Fish Docks to get some. I love seafood, to get a load of seafood and bring a load of seafood back. So it's got a special place in my heart. And fish and chips at Cleethorpes.
I hope you have a shower when you get back, Andy. That's all I'll say.
Dear me. I don't know. We used to have a caravan at Cleethorpes, so I spent a lot of time in Cleethorpes. In fact, also, I went to university in Hull, so I know Hull very well. And
you're going to tell me you've got a soft spot for Grimsby now, aren't you?
I used to enjoy it. Well, it's daft. Not really. It's daft because I used to enjoy it. I wish they were in the same division of us, but only by them getting promoted, really. Because I like a day. We used to like a day at Grimsby. We used to, when kids were younger, we used to go over during the day and get some fish and chips on a walk on Cleethorpes Beach, look at the donkeys and whatever, and then go to the match. It was lovely.
Steep Hill is incredibly superior compared to the Cleethorpes Beach, I think.
Getting out to Grimsby or Cleethorpes after a match is unbelievable. The dual carriageway back towards the
Yeah,
it's
M180. Yeah, nightmare. Yeah.
impossible. So anyway, God dear me. Right, I'm going to ask you one more from them. So, because I know you're probably happy to answer as many as they've got loads. But you're probably happy to answer as many as you want. But truthfully, I get fed up from them. I see them at home matches, and I just get fed up from them. So this is the last one. So here they are.
If you could sign any player from League One, which Barnsley player would it be?
I've been trying to think about this while we've been recording. I genuinely don't have a clue. I don't know. There's obviously a lot of good players in league. I think last year would have been quite easy when you had Birmingham and them lot. But there's not really in terms of what we need. I think we probably really need a number 10. So I think I'd be looking for a creative midfielder. And I'm not saying this because it's you guys, but genuinely, I think Adam Phillips would be perfect. Like, just, I know you play him in a 3-man midfield, but I think to me, he's always been a creative midfielder when he was at Morecambe and at Accrington Stanley. And just if we could put him in that number 10, and he just gets goal outputs every year. He's always getting double digits for goals or double digits for assists every season. And he's a very good player, and he's someone that I would love to see. I'm surprised Barnsley kept hold of him this summer because I know there was a lot of links regarding Championship clubs. So he's done well to keep him. But I genuinely think Adam Phillips in our number 10 role, feeding James Collins, I think we'd maybe score 45 goals just from that combination.
It's good to hear that because he's been out injured a bit recently. He's come back, but he's obviously building back up. But for me, not everybody thinks the same at the minute. They did last year, but he's not been at his very, very best this season for a fair bit. But he's one of my favourite players, and he always has been. So, I want him to do well, and I was thrilled to bits that he stayed because we needed our players. I mean, there were lots of players that were going in the summer. I think we sold Davis Keeler done about 9 times in the summer. Loads of teams bought him. Apparently, if you listen to Twitter and what have you.
It was between Philip or I don't know if you guys have you guys played Leyton Orient yet.
No, we play him on Saturday.
Aaron Connolly is genuinely. I think in terms of player that we've played against this year, he's been the best. He absolutely tore. Tendai Doriqua doesn't get beat by many wingers, and he absolutely had Tendai's trousers down. He's far too good, and he won't be at Orient hopefully beyond January, because if he is, then they're a problem for the top 6. And I'm trying to eradicate all the teams that could finish in the top 6, and I wouldn't mind passing them out. But he is genuinely a joke of a player. You'll see him on Saturday, but yeah, I'll go with Phillips, but he's a very, very good player.
Played for Bolton.
Brighton. He was at Brighton, Millwall. I think he's played for Hull. Unfortunate, but
that's right.
He's such a good. He's far above this level, Andy. You'll see it on Saturday, I'd imagine.
Well, all thing I'll say to you is, presuming he's back, get ready to watch Reyes Cleary. Not just scoring from his own half, but he's one of the players. It's been a while. It's been a while. We've had some good players, and we do some good interpassing and some good passages of play. But it's been a while since we've had a player starting for us or playing for us, more or less since Adam Hamill, that will get people off the seats, when he gets the ball, because he's still raw, but when he gets the ball, plays on the left wing for us, although he's right-footed, he's quick and he's powerful and strong and what have you, hard to knock off the ball, and his crossing has got better. He's got to know, such as DKD, better where they want the ball to be put, rather than either above everybody or up for the goalkeeper, because we've not got tall strikers. There's no point in putting high balls in. If he plays at the top of the game, he'll be definitely one for you to watch.
He's a really interesting story, isn't he? Because this time last year he was on loan at Walsall and couldn't get a kick for the first team, on loan from West Brom, and then he went to Hartlepool in the second half of last year and just completely tore the National League apart. And If you'd have said to me a year ago, Reyes Cleary would be playing regularly in League One, I think Walsall fans, probably myself, would have laughed at you.
Yeah.
But he's done really well. He's been a really big threat for you guys on that left hand side. I don't think he played well. I don't think anyone played well for you. Like when we beat the other month, but you can tell he's got it. Like you can tell he's got that confidence and that swagger, and it feels like if Davis Keeler Dunn isn't on his game, you can then turn to Reyes Cleary and go, well. What was it? Was it 1 goal and 2 assists against Luton?
He's a good, yeah.
The kid's really talented, so he's definitely a player that I think Tendai needs to keep an eye on Tuesday night.
We'll see. So, you're feeling quite positive about Tuesday?
I think so. I think so. I think it's a home game, isn't it? We've been really good at home. Traditionally, Lincoln a little bit like Barnsley, I suppose, and it's weird how we both have got better at home this season. But traditionally, we've always been an away side. I think about when we beat Cambridge away last season. It didn't feel like it. We broke our club record of 16 games unbeaten on the road, and now we can't seem to buy a win away from home. I think we've won away at Burton and Northampton. I don't think we've won anywhere else on the road this year. So I am confident at home. With, like I say, second best home record in the league. The injuries do worry me a little bit, but I think we've got to get in the playoffs. You've got to beat Barnsley. You've got to beat everybody, really, haven't you? So we might as well.
That's what we've said. We've said to get in the playoffs, you've got to beat such as Lincoln and whatever.
Yeah, we've got to. Yeah. And I think if we can beat Barnsley. Given the fact where you are in the league table, you've not played as many games. Not only will it be good to knock you back a little bit so that your games in hand don't go above us on points or whatever, but it would be quite a big confidence booster, I think, going into the festive period, which is obviously yourself twice. We also play Blackpool, Cardiff, Stockport, Huddersfield, and Peterborough before I go back to work on the 5th of Jan. So it's a really difficult period. If we can win our home games. This is a really good opportunity for us, and we've got a good record against you guys. In the main part, obviously, last year was a bit of a blip, but yeah, I'm feeling confident. Certainly, of a result, whether we win or not, I don't think we'll lose. If that makes sense.
Right. So, what do you think the score is going to be then?
Well, do you know, I got a notification the other day, Andy. We always seem to play each other around December, just before Christmas, and it was of that game where we scored in the last minute to equalise, TJ Ioma in 23-24. It would have been 2023. So I'm going to go for an entertaining 2-2 draw. I think we want to be kept nice and entertained, don't we? On a Tuesday night, it's going to be cold, bitter, and then obviously in a couple of weeks we'll come up for Oakwell and take our usual 3 points. So 4 points off Barnsley for a year would be decent, I think.
You'll be all right with that. Oh dear me. Well, I think I made a bit of a mistake. So I've already done a prediction on our show, and I was going to lie to you, but I'll not. And I think I made a bit of a mistake because I put us down, as I often do, for us
2-1.
2-1.
Yeah, there's a surprise. Yeah,
but on the basis that, but against flipping Peterborough, I said that we'd draw 1-1 and lose on penalties, because every time I've not said 2-1, we've won. In fact, we won 2-1. So I wish I'd kept off it. But out of the three of us, I've said 2-1. I think Craig said that we'll lose, and Josh has said that it's going to 2-2. A Desmond, as he calls it.
Positivity from Craig, then, as always.
As always. So.
Yeah,
So I think I should have put you to. I should have gone for a draw so that we can win 2-1. So I think I've made a bit of a mistake. So I've said 2-1, but I think we're going to. I think that means we're not. So we'll not keep a clean sheet. That's for sure. We don't do that very often. So anyway, we'll see. Whew. Been an absolute pleasure as always, Jake. As always, absolutely. You're one of my favourite podcasters, whether it's with Gabe, whether it's with Nappers, or just you, because you're just as far as I'm concerned, you're just a star. And I'm not going to mention it, but I'm not going to mention girlfriends this time because I've mentioned it every other time. I'm not going to mention it.
Work in progress.
I said I'm not going to mention it. So I'm going to say, so I'll leave it there. And then you start offering it. Don't start offering, because you'll start getting me asking you questions about it. And I promised I'm not going to do it. So I'm not going to do it. So I'll just say to you and potentially your girlfriend, all the very, very best. And hopefully, we'll see you when you get to our ground. All right then, bud.
Thank you, Andy.
Take care. Kenneth Wolstenholme said in 1966, there are some people on the pitch, they think he's red all over. It is now.